Hi, I'm Representative Mike McCarthy, and I wanted to give everybody a legislative update here. I know that most of us have been affected in some way by the declaration of emergency for COVID-19. And I wanted to make sure that you know that your legislators are still working for you. You can reach me via my legislative email, mccarthy@leg.state.vt.us, or give me a call, and I'll post my contact info below with a number of useful links. I want to address just a couple of areas where the legislature is continuing to work and also monitor what's going on at the federal level to see how we can best help Vermonters through both the public health crisis and toward economic recovery and economic relief as the closure of businesses and layoffs and furloughs has probably impacted almost every family in Vermont. So the first area I want to cover is just public health. Make sure that you're following CDC and the Department of Health guidelines. You can find the latest information at healthvermont.gov. The city is collecting volunteer info for folks who would like to help with making sure that seniors and other vulnerable individuals continue to have access to food and medicine that they need. Age Well is looking for volunteers to help with the Meals on Wheels program and those deliveries, and have developed safe guidelines on how to do that. The American Red Cross is hosting several blood drives in coming weeks, and there is a need for blood donations. And the most important thing in terms of public health is stay home. Please stay home, stay safe, and follow those guidelines. Wash your hands, take care of yourself and your family. This will be over eventually, but right now it's just really important that we limit the spread of this novel coronavirus and make sure that we don't overwhelm our healthcare system. So moving on from public health, I want to talk a little bit about the topic I've heard about the most in the last week, which is unemployment insurance. I've had a number of constituents call. Please feel free to direct questions to me, and I'll continue to try to get good information and good answers for you. There is now online filing of initial claims. So any Vermonter who has had their hours reduced below 35 hours per week has been furloughed, where they maintain they stay on their company's payroll, but they don't have hours or salary paid. Those folks who've been laid off have now access to unemployment insurance without the work search requirements have been waived. And there's also the federal government has put an additional $600 per week in terms of the benefit. So the state will calculate what benefit that you would get from the traditional program when you apply, and then plus that up by $600 per week. And so anybody who qualifies, whether it's for a full benefit or a part-time benefit because of a reduction of hours, will qualify for that $600 a week benefit. So I'll post a link to the Department of Labor website. They are overwhelmed by the record number of applications, but they are processing them now, automating more of that, and doing away with some of the verification limitations that had been there before, and trying to process those claims within a couple of days. So follow that link. There's lots of great information on the Department of Labor website. H742, the bill that we had in the House to respond initially to COVID-19 in Vermont, made it so that employers won't experience an increase next year in their unemployment insurance rates as long as they're laying off or furloughing employees because of this emergency declaration and complying with those guidelines, and then they bring those employees back after the emergency declaration is over. So we've essentially made a hold harmless for employers if they are forced to furlough or lay off employees during this emergency. So unemployment insurance is really important, and if you have questions about that, go to the Department of Labor website. Feel free to contact me. I've learned a lot in the last couple of weeks about how unemployment is going to work and how it's changing in this time of COVID-19. The third thing I want to talk about is small business relief, which dovetails into that. We depend on having a healthy and vibrant economy, but right now many of us can't work. I myself have had my hours cut back significantly at my place of employment. So while the legislature continues to meet, one of the things that has been done is, we're meeting online, is that the Speaker and the Senate President Pro Tem have appointed a select committee that's going to work through some of the federal legislation that's been passed and see how we can get dollars to help protect payrolls and provide emergency grants and loans to make sure that we have businesses that are able to reopen their doors and be healthy and keep our economy moving once it's safe for us to go back to work. So banks are still waiting on a number of guidelines from the Federal Small Business Administration about how the emergency funding programs are going to work that were passed in the CARES Act. I'm asking people to please be patient, but also feel free to direct questions toward me over the next couple of weeks. I think the details of those grant and loan programs are going to be made a little more clear for small business owners. And we'll be able to start directing people toward lending institutions and get those dollars out the door so that businesses are able to continue to pay their utilities, pay rent, and keep moving forward so that they're able to reopen in a healthy way once this crisis is passed. The last thing I wanted to say is that we continue to meet in legislative committees. I'm on the House Transportation Committee. We are continuing to think about changes that we need to make in project schedules in order to have a healthy response to COVID-19 and keep the workforce safe. The number one priority for the Department of Transportation continues to be the safety of moving Vermonters on our transportation system, our roads and our rail, especially, and making sure that we're able to move goods and services and have a vibrant economy once we're past this initial emergency period. So it's really important for us to think about the revenue changes that are coming in and also the federal stimulus monies that are likely to come. So we're meeting, we're here for you. We are preparing for, how the next few months are going to be very different than we thought they were going to be, making changes to the budget and reprioritizing projects and programs in order to make sure that we're being fiscally responsible as the economy has changed very rapidly in the last few weeks. So that's a lot of information. Again, I'm Representative Mike McCarthy. You can email me any questions or concerns at mmccarthy, mmccarthy at leg.state.vt.us, and I'll post a number of useful links below, and I'll continue to give these legislative updates regularly, so stay tuned. Thanks so much. Be well, be safe. Thanks.